USA! USA! USA!
Halter out, USA! Let's go!
USA! USA! USA!
Go Canada! Yeah! Woo!
Let's go! USA! What do you say? Canada! 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 Come! Canada! Canada!
watch the stars warm up behind me.
We done so hard. Holy shit. Talk to me.
Wherever you go in the world, one airline goes further to make it feel exceptional. Qatar Airways, going places together.
To further protect the integrity of matches and competitions in our region, Concacaf is implementing an updated three-step procedure for discriminatory behaviors. This three-step procedure is aimed at immediately stopping all discriminatory behaviors in the games. If a sudden serious discriminatory incident were to occur during a match, including showcasing banners, flags, chants, and gestures, the referee may decide to stop the match. In this first step, a statement announcement will be made, reminding fans that discrimination in stadiums will not be tolerated. After resuming playing any of the discriminatory behavior continues, the referee may suspend the game and
trophy.
Canadian fans dreaming that tonight is the night, their first trophy in 23 years within reach. The United States hoping to retain their crown as Concacaf Nations League champions. In Las Vegas tonight at Allegiant Stadium, it all comes down to just 90 minutes to crown a new king in Nations League. Is the old boss the new boss, or does Canada, after this 2-decade-plus long wait, take the top spot in the region? A gorgeous day outside. Inside, two teams who've waited 2 years for this very occasion in the desert of Nevada. Good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to the Concacaf Nations League Final. It is 98 degrees outside, thankfully temperature-controlled indoors here as the United States and Canada prepare to meet. Mike Watts on hand, and a very pleasant good evening indeed. The United States coming off a 3-goal dismantlement of their rival to the south, Mexico, handing El Tri their worst loss in CONCACAF competition since 1973, nearly 50 years ago. The U.S. men's national team tonight submit the youngest lineup they've ever produced for a final, continental or otherwise. And here tonight, they hope to retain the trophy that truly was the coming of age for this young American core, one they hope will be ready to rise to unparalleled heights when the World Cup comes to North America in 2026. They're going to be down 2 significant players this evening. Red cards handed out for 2 incidents that occurred between the United States and Mexico. The heartbeat of their team, Weston McKennie and Serginho Dest. All the while for Canada, this is a team that's experiencing all of this for the very first time. Sure, they walked out in the semifinal, and The music blared, the flames flew. They've gotten some experience through the octagonal, winning the World Cup qualifying campaign in Concacaf, going to Qatar, the World Cup for the first time in 36 years. To some extent, they've gotten a taste of the big time, but here, their first chance to win a trophy in quite some time. They won the Gold Cup in the year 2000. Shortly thereafter, their current captain, Atiba Hutchinson, took the field for the first time for his country. It should be said then that the 40-year-old announced his retirement at the end of this match just yesterday, part of a 30-minute uncut interview released by Canada Soccer. That explains just how long it is. Literally, it's been an entire generation. The generation that's now seen players like Alphonso Davies and Kyle Larin and Jonathan David step to the fore. And now they believe they're ready to take on the United States. The media asked John Herdman, the head coach for Canada, do you need a trophy to validate what you've done? He said at this point, it's become a necessity. They've gotten to the point where anything less has to be a disappointment, where they're not taking the steps forward that you expect of an elite power within their region and one prepared to step onto the global stage. A look inside the tunnel at midfield as an ornate exhibition occurs in front of the fans assembled here. What a fantastic occasion this is. Milan Borjan set to lead the line forward. They've just only now gotten the pennant out to the captain. Christian Pulisic, stone-faced, as he prepares to try and defend the United States crown in Concacaf Nations League. 41 countries entered Nations League A, B, and C. Only 4 could reach the finals. Mexico have finished 3rd. Panama have finished 4th. These Canadian fans have traveled a long distance south to Las Vegas for this moment. American fans have congregated from all over, sea to shining sea, hoping tonight they see a 3rd continental trophy lift in 2+ years. Onto the field, passing the trophy. Pulisic coming off a brace against Mexico. Can the United States possibly, under B.J. Callahan, with their new manager being their old manager, step up once more? Or is tonight's Canada's long-awaited night? They'll play the national anthems and kickoff soon to come in Las Vegas.
For the singing of the national anthem of Canada. Please remain standing if you are able for the singing of the national anthem of the United States of America.
The United States and Mexico, a 3-0 defeat. A tightly contested game between Canada and Panama. Now we're prepared for the Nations League final. Canada and the United States. A look at the lineup that John Herdman has assembled. Alphonso Davies will start in this one. Milan Borjan is in goal. They've made a change in the back, including going to 4. Kennedy moves into the lineup. Vittoria steps out. Atakubi and Buchanan, the wingbacks, are dropped. Osorio steps into midfield. Eustachio and Kone will sit in front of the back line. Larin and David up front, the 2 all-time leading goal scorers for the Canadian national team. It is Davies' first start in almost 2 months. April 22nd, he went down with a hamstring for Bayern Munich. And he'll go from the jump here tonight after 30 blistering minutes in the semifinal. Said Martinez oversaw the Gold Cup final in 2021 between the U.S. and Mexico. He oversaw the Champions Cup final between Seattle and Pumas last year. Ricardo Montero of Costa Rica, assisted by Benjamin Pineda in the VAR room. Christian Pulisic captains the United States to another final.
The substitutes tonight for
Canada in all black tonight. Is this a day of mourning? Is this a day where they finally lift a trophy? Milan Borjan and Christian Pulisic for the coin toss. The lineup for the United States. They have 2 changes forced upon them. Dest is out at right back. Turner stays in goal. Zimmerman comes in for Robinson at center back. Scally steps in for the U.S. at right back. In midfield, this is a surprise. Brendan Aronson takes the place of Weston McKennie, who's out with a red card suspension. Folarin Balogun leads the line for the United States. The first trio of 20-year-olds to start a final for the U.S., Musa, Reyna, Scally. That's the youngest American lineup ever for a final, 23 years, 314 days old. Finals are what you dream about. At times they can feel beyond reach. For the United States, they've been blessed with a number of them in the past few years, and they've won them all. The Gold Cup and the Nations League are currently in their possession. For Canada, this, 23 years in the making. Have they arrived?
3, 2, 1.
Opening kickoff in Las Vegas between the United States and Canada for the Concacaf Nations League final. The second edition of this competition. Canada failed to qualify for the Nations League finals in Denver in 2021. The United States got by Honduras and then in extra time took out Mexico in the finale. Scally, a calm first touch on the ball. He and Zimmerman on the right side. A new pairing. Anthony Robinson. Flicked on by Christian Pulisic. There is John Herdman, 47 years old, appointed in 2018 after leading the Canadian women's national team to great effect. 2 bronze medals since he left. The Canadian women went on to win Olympic gold. Osorio, upfield from Musa. Davies, pushed off by Aronson. And back to Kamal Miller, who features for Inter Miami. His soon-to-be teammate, Lionel Messi, may well be watching from afar. Borjan with Balogun chasing. Second start for Ballo, as he prefers to be called, not Flo. BJ Callahan, his second game ever as a head coach. Anthony Hudson leaving 2 months ago. Callahan thrust into the role, and now his old boss, it was confirmed on Friday, will return as the head coach of the United States national team, Greg Berhalter, who led the U.S. and Qatar out of the group stage before falling to the Dutch. Zimmerman taken away, but a foul. Musa dragged from behind. Richards retains his spot in the back line for the United States. Laid back by Gio Reyna. He's the first American ever to start 2 finals under the age of 21. And for Greg Berhalter's part, he spoke to media here. He said he does have work to do to repair that relationship. Reyna. Gio Reyna chips this toward Borjan. Kept it in play. And the opening salvo comes from Giovanni Reyna. Reyna, a critical portion of the Borussia Dortmund title chase in the Bundesliga that came up so perilously short. The 20-year-old named to the Nations League Best 11 in 2021. Ball brought down by Larin, back by Kone. Alphonso Davies glides in to David. Scally. Davies, 30 minutes, absolutely tormented Panama and scored a fine goal. Touched out by Weah. Davies, it's been talked about quite a bit, fled the Second Liberian Civil War at 5 years old, earned his Canadian citizenship in 2017 and jumped immediately into the national team. He is now twice reigning Concacaf Player of the Year. Eustachio. Davies. Planks off of Scally. Davies once more. Help from Aronson. Touched by Weah. Continues through Eustachio. And slings across through for Larin. Away by Richards. A corner in the 5th minute of play for Canada. The motto of this tournament, the dream is now. Canada looking for a dream start. Eustachio drives the cross, Richards. Off the head of Alistair Johnston. Musa enters into the fray and circulated back by Kennedy. Scally down to Matt Turner, who is among the 5 players in the U.S. team slated to take part in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Canada will open that tournament at home in Toronto. The remainder of the games will be played here in the United States, with the final being played a couple hours away by flight from Las Vegas in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium. Richards, Zimmerman, Scally, Musa. Eustachio siphoned it off. Musa recovers. Now Davies. Kept away from Larin. Upfield by Reyna. Weah. Battling through the challenge. Weah continues, looking for Balogun. Punched out by Kennedy. And a corner for the United States. There was a flood of available tickets in the lead up to this game because Mexico's performance against the United States didn't leave a lot of faith for the Mexican fans that had bought tickets that it would be worth coming again. The fans treated to a great third place game. Mexico won 1-0. Corner here for the United States. Too high for Scally, but he will retrieve and recycle. Scally offering Kennedy Johnston. And struck wide by Zimmerman. He's scored 3 times for the United States, twice Major League Soccer's Defender of the Year. And he put his laces through that. Worth the try. Milan Borjan, as soon as the match ended for Canada, the spider cam overhead lofted above the Canadian huddle after their win against Panama. He was saying, let's all be smart the next few days. Forward from Kone. Laren at Turner. Kone just turning 21 years old on Friday. Clever ball, and Laren, a very quick trigger. Richie Larea. Jedi Robinson. Richards. A content Canadian side. Pulisic. Lost. Laren. David. Kone. Larea. Defended by Pulisic. Through for Larea once more. And Robinson pokes this out of play. Jonathan David turned away. Musa for Balogun. Launched over the top, Pulisic. Johnston forcing Pulisic wide, coming off a brace against Mexico. Allows Weah through. Weah, Balogun bounces down, and Osorio collects the scraps. Davies. His touch leads him out of play. Look at how Balogun is able to step out in front of Kennedy. All that strength to hold him off. Continue that run. Lost by Miller. Balogun on the run for the United States. Balogun breaks free. Off of Miller and into the stands. Corner USA. Balogun said it would be a business endeavor. Just another game against Mexico. His head was left spinning by the result. Balogun already showing why U.S. fans were clamoring to see his debut once he chose the U.S. to represent less than a month ago. Gio Reyna. Header snapped down and in. It's Richards. 18 months between caps. His first international goal. Chris Richards could have been a part of the World Cup for the U.S. Injuries robbed him of that opportunity. Stepping into the back line for the United States in the Nations League Finals. He leans this header down, guides it by Borjan. And his first international goal puts the USA ahead. As they look to go back to back. Osorio and Weah having words. Johnston. Well, Canada have taken the punch. Do they get up off the mat? Larin swept through for the on-rushing Larea, whose touch guides him out of play. Chris Richards, 9 games in the Premiership, finished 11th at Palace. A leg injury kept him out of the World Cup, even consideration for it. Started in Dallas, but finished his academy career at Bayern Munich. Palace spent a rumored £12 million to bring him in. Zimmerman seeking Weah, Miller, Osorio, Kennedy. Borjan. Header forward by Richards. Scally. This is an awe-inspiring collection of attacking talent that Canada has put together. Lest we forget, David, one of the leading scorers for Lille in France. Top 5 in goals in Ligue 1. First yellow card of the match for that extended leg through midfield, and that is Scott Kennedy in the book. Kyle Larin coming off a good campaign the second half in La Liga, on loan from Bruges. Of course, Alphonso Davies. Canada far from out. And lest we forget, David scored in 4 Nations League games in a row. That's Balogun holding off Kennedy. And then charging into Johnston. Kennedy. Eustachio. He's the metronome on a good day for the Canadians. Miller. Allowed through by Osorio. Taken on by Zimmerman. Cleared by Turner, but off of Jonathan David. Davies. Pitch and catch with Kyle Larin. Toward the halfway line, Miller met it. Davies quickly puts this back in play for the Canadians. John Herdman said this group signed up to pioneer. for the men's game in Canada. Kone, Miller, Eustachio slides away from Weah. Kone steps into the pocket, finds the width. Davies chipping out of play altogether. Turner was, let's be honest, an afterthought. Ethan Horvath was the one who came off the bench when Zach Steffen was injured in the Nations League, but so good in the Gold Cup and the tail end of World Cup qualifying. Matt Turner refused to be denied, and it was right before his transfer to Arsenal. Only allowed 1 goal in 6 games at the Concacaf Gold Cup in 2021, and he has not ceded the role to the U.S. national team since. Kone swings the diagonal to Rea. Scally off of Davies. Scally recently extended through 2027 at Borussia Mönchengladbach in Germany. He steps in there and clears. So a pair of Bundesliga players matched up on that side. Scally, less known to the casual fan, only his 6th cap, and going up against, of all players, Alphonso Davies. This will be perhaps the greatest test of his career. Kennedy for Miller. Back from Osorio. Miller held off Weah. Eustachio. Richards in the 12th minute to put the United States ahead off a corner. Musa blasted from behind by Eustachio. Aronson, Miller trailing. Off the head of Zimmerman, Osorio. The goal in the 12th minute from Richards makes him the first player to score his first goal for the U.S. national team in a championship final. It comes in his 10th appearance. Got away from David. Kone Zimmerman. Kennedy splayed that back. Balogun breathing down his neck. Now Pulisic into the fray. What's to be for Christian Pulisic? The first American to score a brace against Mexico since Michael Bradley did it 14 years ago. He's now got 21 goals for official competitions with the U.S. It seems whenever he wears that crest, all the outside noise goes away. He is, after all, the figurehead of a U.S. generation of which much is expected. And regrettably, he was among the faces of the side that failed to qualify to the World Cup in 2018. It appears they've righted that wrong to some extent, but now he's supposed to be the focal point of a group set to turn the corner and make a real run at the World Cup when it comes to the United States, Mexico, and Canada in 2026. Turner snatches. Of course, who he'll represent at the club level remains to be seen. The Concacaf officials, led by Victor Montagliani, will hand the trophy out and the medals potentially in about an hour and a half. Musa. Mustachio waving, says there's nothing there. The referee concurs. You can hear John Herdman, we need a 9. Someone has to step forward. That U.S. back line, someone's got to stay. Osorio, Kone. The final in 2021, 3-2, went to extra time. It was a Pulisic penalty. Larea pounding off target. And Ethan Horvath, who came off the bench, denied Andres Guardado the equalizer in the dying minutes that could have sent that match to spot kicks. The Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The upper deck largely full, but you can see big sections. Mexican fans probably assumed that they would be occupying. Massive collision from Walker Zimmerman. Larin just got absolutely pounded. Larin came through the American collegiate system, went to UConn, was a first overall pick in the MLS Super Draft. That's really the mechanism to bring college players in MLS. Back in 2015 by Orlando. Ultimately made the move overseas a few years later. Miller. Davies wins a free kick, and that's a concern. They're having it at the back of his leg. Borjan. Brought down by Musa. He was kicked at by Larin. Musa's had a rough go of it tonight. It's 3 or 4 times he's received a foul. Reyna, an assist off a corner. The free kick. Zimmerman, Balogun! Put that in a dangerous spot. Balogun stayed tight to the pack of players. Eustachio came in from behind, prevented him from getting over the top of it. And Balogun will be looked at. He described a long process to get to the point where he was prepared to commit to the U.S. national team. Shortly after he did commit, he technically became the first U.S. international to score 20 or more in one of the European Big Five leagues. The opening goal from Chris Richards, the first American to score his first goal in a championship final. DJ Callahan was a strategy analyst. His first game against the most heated rival, Mexico, a semifinal. Second game, the final of Nations League. And someone is going to have to tell him that his next game will be against Jamaica in a group stage match at the Gold Cup. In doing so, he'll hold that role until Greg Berhalter retakes the reins following the Gold Cup. So Balogun going through pretty standard head injury battery of tests here. For Davies. Out of room there. So Davies will try the right side for an upcoming stint. Apparently, that constant double team of Zimmerman and Scally deters him. All the while, there's Folarin Balogun returning to the fray. Raised in London, did feature in the U.S. youth national team for a while. But it's his loan to Reims that got everyone in a tizzy. Fourth in Liga in goals, 21 this past season. Half an hour complete. It's Richards in the 12th minute. Throw for the U.S. Canada seek their first trophy since their last final, 2000, a Gold Cup victory over Colombia. Foul from Reyna. John Herdman said this is a generational group for Canada, one that can win things. Right now held to one shot by the U.S. Pulisic, who's been at times in this game a bystander. Reyna's joined him. Reyna knocked it away. Pulisic from Balogun. Pulisic bouncing. Davies defensively. And the captain waves his arms up to the crowd here in Las Vegas. A corner for Reyna. Pulisic. Miller. David. Scally. foul from Jonathan David. Otherwise, he was gone. Reyna. Zimmerman tried to get over Laren and popped away by Aronson. He hasn't put a foot wrong yet, Brendan Aronson. He has the unenviable role of trying to fill the boots of Weston McKennie, who was sent off against Mexico. He had his jersey ripped off in part. That became quite the meme. Balogun chasing Borjan. Off the arm of Laren. Turner, Kennedy, Reyna, Weah, Reyna glides through the midfield, forward to Balogun! His first goal for the United States! And what a goal it is! The United States lead the Nations League final 2-0. Gio Reyna playing off of Weah brilliantly. And the ball through. Balogun makes no mistake. This is what the American fans were hoping for. Held his run against Kennedy. And fires home the second for the United States. Take a look, there's the release, he's onside. Expert stuff, 2 assists for Gio Reyna. And that has to impress the new boss. 2-0 USA. Scally. Well, Canada trailing by 2 now. They're about to find out quite a bit about where they stand in Concacaf. They've never been here before. This entire generation of player. Larea. Aronson went in, keeping his feet. Larea still. Osorio. Osorio crossing. Zimmerman hammers the header away. Eustachio slides. Eustachio. Turner reaches out, pulls it in. Eustachio got back to his feet. There was a little light deflection off the back of Richards. Bouncing, Balogun all the way up to Borjan. Kennedy, Borjan. Canada undone on a set piece and a transition moment. Kone, Osorio, Larea, Kone, pushing for David, slid out by Richards. Lost at the feet of Balogun, he takes it back on. And back to Richards, who plays Turner. In from Osorio, blast, turn away by Turner. Follow-up knocked in and cleared by Robinson. Anthony Robinson in the nick of time keeps Canada off the board for the moment. Stripped away, Aronson leads the charge. Balogun will watch Kennedy catch up. Since 1985, the U.S. lead the series 11 wins, 3 losses, 9 draws. They met in the group stage of the Gold Cup. As this finds Turner, the U.S. won that 1-0 in 2021. They met twice in World Cup qualifying. A draw in Nashville, Aronson and Laren the goals. And a 2-0 Canadian win in Toronto. Laren and Atakubi the goals. Atakubi available off the bench tonight. Away by Johnson. Turner, as good a shot stopper as the U.S. have at the moment. Balogun led forward. Balogun turns. Johnston waited just long enough. Eustachio, the give and go. Header from Robinson, Aronson chasing, Larea ahead to David. Larea joins the attack. David powers ahead. Rolling through Laren, and he caught Scally. Balogun, now the second American player to score his first goal in a championship final, joining Chris Richards. They happened 22 minutes apart. Larea, the 34th and the 12th. David. Larea. That will find Larea. Scally helps to take it away. Reyna. Slithers out of the reach of Osorio. Advantage played twice over. Weah. Pulisic wins the free kick for the U.S. What control from Gio Reyna. It'll be Reyna or Pulisic. It will be Pulisic. Transfer rumors all around. Make no mistake, for the United States, He is, has been, will be the man. The 16th time he's worn the captain's armband for the second time in a final. Pulisic lays it off way. Borjan, an elastic save. Weah launched into that. Certainly on target. A ton of whip on this. And a fingertip save by Milan Borjan. The first goal for the United States came off a set piece. Reyna. Rising Scally. Richards. Davies. Can Canada pull one back before halftime? Aronson brought down by David. Sent long with Balogun and Murray. Kennedy nearly set that back to his own net. Almost a Canadian disaster. Maybe a little push from Balogun, but no way Borjan thought he'd have to make that save on his own center back. My, oh my. What Canada decides to do here in the second half is going to be very intriguing. They went to a four-back at the World Cup like this. They kept Miller out as a fullback in this formation. He often plays a three. Could you try and get Adekubi and Buchanan in, try and provide a little bit of speed? If so, who do you take off to do it? Reyna got pushed. Ultimately, whatever window Gio Reyna and Greg Berhalter eventually do cross paths, it's going to be on the tip of everybody's tongue. But what Reyna has proven, both with Dortmund and in his return to the national team since the World Cup, he is a player with a skill set that the U.S. do not possess otherwise. 2 assists here tonight. B.J. Callahan has largely unleashed the dogs from the U.S. 5 scored, none conceded so far in the Nations League finals. And he's really laboring. Now, if he is able to continue, they could always make a change at halftime. They could also play with 10, and you can see this is going to be tough for Reyna to have any role moving forward. Beyond the midway point of first half stoppage. Turner. Larea. Robinson over Balogun, Musa, Kone. Zimmerman, Davies, wow. Davies flying. Deflected by Scally. Laren the target. Kicked away by Scally. Referee is, well, he was contemplating. He's saying that just got away from me. He was trying to send it to the corner. He sent it about 5 rows deep. A goal would be priceless for Canada right before halftime. Stefan Eustáquio delivers for Canada. That did find the back post. Pulisic sprinting into the width and now through. Larea in his wake. Larea brought him down, and Larea shown a yellow card. 2 in the back line now for Canada on yellow cards. And the U.S. will get one more look here before halftime. They came up with something special off the last free kick. A short play to Weah that he nearly bent inside the post, only to see Borjan push it aside. Pulisic delivers, header down in front, up and away by Laren, further by Johnston, Eustáquio, and a foul given. Tossed back by Richards. And halftime in Las Vegas. The United States look every bit the front runner in Concacaf right now. They are running rampant here in the Nations League Finals. Richards in the 12th, Balogun in the 34th. The first 2 American players in their history to score their first international goal in a championship final. And in this final, in Nations League, at halftime, USA 2, Canada 0. Halftime statistics between the United States and Canada in the Concacaf Nations League Final. The U.S. 5 national team standing tall on that stage yet again, looking to win their second successive Concacaf Nations League final. The U.S. lead Canada 2-0 at the half. Chris Richards in the 12th minute, Folarin Balogun in the 34th. The U.S. will make a change at halftime. There he is, Luca de la Torre. There were a number of people who thought he would start this game. He did come on shortly after Weston McKennie was sent off in the 71st minute against Mexico. Alas, it was Brendan Aronson that got the call. And the U.S. right now are waiting for Canada to come out of the dressing room. Now, it's worth noting that Gio Reyna took a significant knock right at the end of the half. The U.S. bringing De La Torre in for the injured Gio Reyna. Reyna leaves with 2 assists to his credit. The first American not yet legal to drink in this country. It's played in 2 championship finals. But he's done after 45 minutes, and you hope there's nothing more to that than something that'll need to heal up over the summer. All the while for Canada, they come out of the dressing room needing to find some answers here, and sooner than later. They splay out upon the pitch here at Allegiant Stadium. Second half underway between Canada and the United States. The USA lead 2-0. Christian Pulisic said after the thrashing of Mexico, as Reyna takes leave due to injury and De La Torre comes on in his stead, that the Mexican win was a testament of all the work that Greg Berhalter put in. He said before Berhalter was officially announced as returning, although the rumors at that point rampant due to the reporting of Paul Tenorio of The Athletic, he said if that's not evidence, people are going to hate no matter what. It is a very love-hate at best relationship between U.S. fans and their former and now current national team manager. But what can be said is the American manager takes over at a time where the Gold Cup this year will be managed by his former assistant, B.J. Callahan. Then some major tournaments to come. Davies through. Lassoed by Walker Zimmerman. The Copa America will be played in the United States. Another Gold Cup, another round of Nations League, and then the World Cup. The expectations for this U.S. team moving forward will be heightened, and so too will the scrutiny. Ball into David. Osorio. Johnston. Miller. Larea. Kone. Steps inside of Weah. Turner. There's De La Torre. This is his 16th international appearance for the United States. 25-year-old from San Diego in Southern California. Playing at Celta right now in Spain. He's become a pretty quick fan favorite there. Larea lets this out. Taken away by Scally. It's Zimmerman. Robinson. Pulisic. Musa. Weah. Musa shadowed by Kone. Lost a touch. Seeking Weah and the eventual return. Zimmerman. Laren held off. Davies sent to the stands by Yunus Musa. Last year's Young Male Athlete of the Year for U.S. Soccer. Larea. There's Kone, who was named Young Player of the Year for Canada Soccer. Kennedy. There's Reyna. He's found his way back to the bench, but he does so hobbling after being taken off at the half. He was injured in the first minute of first half stoppage time. Turner. Robinson. When might we see Deon Buchanan, Steven Vittoria, the center back, left out, but Sam Adekubi as well? Off the bench, Lucas Cavallini are the best scoring threat that they have remaining. They could also see Junior Hoylett come in. They put most of their firepower in from the jump, something they did not do against Panama. These are decisions have to be made soon by John Herdman. Zimmerman. Balogun. All the talk at U.S. camp. This guy is the real deal. They think they've found their striker of the future, and that's a position that all through World Cup qualifying is really in doubt. Pefok, Ferreira, Pepe. Did they find their answer? Perhaps they have. Forward from Johnston. Zimmerman comes down to David. Eustachio playing way up the field right now. Weah on the run. Kennedy arrives. Boyan, who made a couple of critical stops in that first half. Davies, wrong-sided David. Larea. It's the big switch. Johnston. Eustachio. Alphonso Davies. Into the box for Canada. Looking for his moment. Balogun trying to send Weah. Miller. Clearance left, something to be desired. Kone heads that down, picked up by Balogun. Overload into Balogun from Robinson. And Balogun sees this, Karam over the line. Can the U.S. find their third? Pulisic. Laren. Weah. Screamer off of Kone. Weah went down. Play on, advantage. De La Torre. Pulisic. Christian Pulisic said he's never been a part of a team like this. Teams like this are immortalized by the trophies they win. Pulisic, ball bouncing away from Robinson, soars into the air. Richards off the crossbar. It's like a campfire down here. The only one who had a really good beat on it. Apparently, the touch necessary from Borjan. Reyna assisted the corner in the 12th minute. Pulisic, header down. Richards, away from the line. Balogun, header, pulled in. Robinson into the waiting grasp of a diving Milan Borjan. Balogun kept his feet. Balogun went down of his own volition. Pulisic, the U.S. inclined to find their third. Does Canada have a comeback in them? Balogun spun around. Goodness me, how Kennedy kept that out. De La Torre forced off by Alphonso Davies. Laren. Osorio layering further for Alistair Johnston. Larea. Davies. Miller. Driving David. The breakthrough continues to elude. Another look. That arm was out, but it appears to go off the hip of Kennedy. Scally back to his feet. Play on. Laren through Davies. Alphonso Davies. Musa clears to set up a Canadian corner. Stefano Stacchio the backside. Johnston ran into Laren. There's Buchanan. When he replaces Johnston, you would imagine that'll move Miller into center back. Back from Kone. Takes over once more. He sends Davies exploring down the left touchline. Into the box. Davies crossing just outside of David, and Laren's runs. Triple sub. Buchanan, Adekubi. And Vittoria. Jonathan Osorio comes off. The Brampton, Ontario native who fell in a Champions League final with Toronto, his hometown club, back in 2018 in Concacaf. Kennedy comes off. He was on a yellow card. If Canada stay in this, his goal line clearance will play a big role.
Out of the match, number 2, Alistair Johnston.
And Alistair Johnston off as well. Header away by Richards. Weah further. First touch by Stephen Vittoria.
Number 5, Stephen Vittoria, and number 11, Tejan.
Goal kick. Canada have had more of the ball. BJ Callahan, his second game as the interim manager. Well, one game interim manager, one game, I suppose, acting manager. De La Torre back from Musa. Zimmerman. De La Torre swept into Aronson. Kone pushes him down. Play on. It's Weah. Off of Adekubi. Not respecting the sign. Hate to see that. Scally. Weah. Adekubi, the block. Is there another crown for the U.S.? Less than half an hour away. Thrown into De La Torre. Drives across. Pulisic denied. The rebound went right to him. Jedi Robinson. Forward from Richards. Robinson rounding the corner. Pushing down Larea. Eustachio. That got Davies last. It was off his instep. Davies launches ahead. Jonathan David. Walker Zimmerman this time. There's still plenty of time here for Canada. And they do have the talent to do it. Adekubi, the long throw. This is the Concacaf Nations League final. The third place game, Mexico, a 1-0 win with a 4th-minute goal as Turner elevates. Mexico knocking off Panama. Jesus Gallardo, the lone goal scorer. The United States looking to go back-to-back. Canada's first continental final in 23 years since they won the Gold Cup in 2000. They've only won a CONCACAF trophy twice, 1985 and 2000, although they did win the octagonal World Cup qualifying campaign in CONCACAF leading up to Qatar. Foul. Davies, away by Robinson. That finds Kone. Davies loading up again. Adekubi slicing back. Laren. Laren again. It's a good look that Adekubi set up. It's a fortunate deflection. Turner got that wrong. Johnny Cardoso replaces Aronson. This was a gamble in the city where a gamble makes a lot of sense. Well, that's not what you're looking for from Buchanan. Aronson effectively paid off that gamble. That's the second change. One was made at halftime. De La Torre on for the injured Gio Reyna. After what we saw on Thursday, good on the referee. They are not going to let this get out of hand again. Said Martinez has been there and done that. He's overseen Gold Cup finals. He's not going to walk into this. 31-year-old from Honduras, a FIFA referee since 2017. Laren. Kone. That's Adekubi. Alphonso Davies will try his luck. Got away from Eustachio with a heavy touch. De La Torre. Pulisic went and had words with Buchanan. PJ Callahan, after all the ruckus that occurred, Balogun, new to the team, slashed in the leg by Montez. Said, this is the culture we've built, a brotherhood of players standing up for one another. He did not take the 2 red cards all that poorly, all things considered, even though it took his starting right back and starting 8 out of the lineup, Dest and McKennie, for this final. Vitoria allows it out. 20 minutes to play in the Concacaf Gold Cup precursor, the Nations League final. The Gold Cup starts in just a week. These two sides surely among the favorites. Both these sides qualifying for the Gold Cup through Nations League. Off the back heel of Buchanan, who's hardly had a role since coming in. This is the second Nations League final since it was instituted in CONCACAF. The last in Denver, the U.S. over Mexico. Weah leads the charge for the United States. Angling to the top of the box, Pulisic. Deflected back, Eustachio won't get there, Scally first. Got away from David. Richards in the 12th. Balogun in the 34th. Both assisted by Gio Reyna. The United States on the verge of a 3rd consecutive continental trophy in their case. Cardoso swings in. He will be playing at the Gold Cup for the U.S. 2 goalkeepers and 3 field players. From this roster. Jedi Robinson. Balogun. Balogun, the return. Miller couldn't hold it out. Pulisic. They're looking now for the goal that provides that crystallizing moment. The one that says this night belongs to them. Pulisic. Vitoria. They'll try again. Weah. Falls. Zimmerman. Pulisic. Pulisic. Laren. Zimmerman. Lorea. Eustachio for Canada, but it's flicked aside. And Pulisic walks in on Lorea, sends the cross for Balogun. There's Ricardo Pepi. He scored off the bench against Mexico. Bouncing ball. Grabbed by Borjan. Back out by Davies. But he flies back into the picture. Free kick, tumbling bodies. Weah inadvertently helps up Alphonso Davies. They've done a great job providing help for Joe Scally. And Scally hasn't been bad himself either. Atakubi's trying to help Scally off the ground. Canada don't want to see a single second wasted. So the two number 9s are going to enter. That's Balogun off for the U.S. Ricardo Pepi coming on. Kyle Larin off for Canada. Lucas Cavallini into the game. Maybe the first of many for Folarin Balogun. The first of many consequential goals likely to come for the United States. Ricardo Pepi gets a solid applause. It's worth noting he was snubbed in many people's eyes, did not go to the World Cup. He said that is in the past. Eustachio had her down, picked up by Pulisic. Pulisic angles this through midfield. Vitoria. Canada have one final change left. And you look down their bench, you could go with Hoylett, or you could go with your longtime captain, Atiba Hutchinson, who's set to hang up his boots the second this match concludes. Pepi battling. Overly aggressive, I suppose. Scally set to return for the United States. The U.S. have one window and two changes remaining. Cavallini, 18 goals in 35 appearances. Did not feature in the semifinal. He's fresh. Davies swings the cross. Header glancing. Picked up by Buchanan. Looks like the U.S. make their final change here in a matter of seconds. Austin Trusty. Davies, as Canada takes it at the halfway line. Atakubi provides the width. Davies lines up Scally. Atakubi took it back, but a throw for the U.S. That's it for Joe Scally. What a performance in his 6th ever cap. If he was the weak link, the fact that Canada moved Davies to the opposite side for the back half of the first half should tell you all you need to know about what he did. Austin Trusty, the club player of the year at Birmingham City this past season, 44 games comes on. He's on loan from Arsenal at the moment. The wave going around Allegiant Stadium now. De La Torre, blazing. Pepi and Pulisic not on the same page. There's a tug there. David gave a little more. Back to Johnny Cardoso. Yellow card shown to Cardoso. Davies running into Turner. Kone. Miller. 10 minutes remaining. That's what saw Cardoso booked. Turner just saw yellow flashed his way, time wasting. Kept away from Davies. Does Canada have anything else in their arsenal here? Plucked off of David. De La Torre lost it to touch. Bouncing to see Musa send that over the end line, corner. The corner, Musa guides this up. Now to Adekubi. Zimmerman, not the guy you want to be playing into. Pulisic. Skipped off the head and all the way back. Pulisic and Pepe still hunting. Miller. Canada's time beginning to run out. This was supposed to be their coronation. Eustachio. Adekubi. Larea. Muscled off the ball. But Pepe dropped it off into a dangerous spot. De La Torre taken away. Through now Larea. Larea cuts back and touched toward the penalty spot. Held away from Buchanan. Header speared up, pushed away by Cardoso. A touch from Pulisic guides this to touch. Davies. 5 minutes remaining. Through for Alphonso Davies. Richards, the denial. And Canada's frustration pouring out now. Lost by Pepe. So it is with Canada. Time elapsing seemingly faster than ever. 4 minutes and stoppage time. Christian Pulisic. He's had a lot of those moments. He's won a free kick in this instance. Finding the ball at the halfway line. Speeding into the attacking half. Yet to find the dagger. BJ Callahan, about to be a major trophy-winning manager. His second game leading the U.S. national team. Eustachio. Off the head of Eustachio, Musa, claimed by Adekubi. Davies opens up for that, it's blocked. Pulisic just came up a bit lame. This is the final change for Canada. Junior Hoylett for Stefan Eustachio. This is not the way they thought this would go. And Atiba Hutchinson will not feature in the final game before his impending retirement. Let's say this for just a moment. Canada soccer is really two people, Christine Sinclair and Atiba Hutchinson. They entered into the national team around the same time. They've been the faces. And while Christine Sinclair has brought the greatest glory, Davies, now it's players like this who have to lead the way for Canada moving forward. And what a face to have for your program. Atiba Hutchinson left it drastically better than he found it. While they still know there's a lot of work to be done, he knows now's the time to walk away. The 40-year-old longtime skipper for the Canadians. Five added minutes. Sent down, there's a second ball in play. Boyan will handle that. Play over to Vittoria. Canada searching now for a miracle, or the United States will in fact go back-to-back. Atakubi. Kicked out by Chris Richards. Corner Canada. And they're getting close to the time where they need to be perfect. You could argue that the U.S. actually got the hardest possible path with the #1 seed in the finals. They had to face the 4 seed, Mexico, one that's provided them so many problems, so much trouble over the years. And then this Canadian side, one that's blossomed right in front of our eyes in the last decade. 5 goals scored, none conceded in the Nations League finals. Alphonso Davies. Slides into midfield. Davies. Wide of Turner. The American bench ready to celebrate another title. Turner on the verge of another clean sheet. Davies, Zimmerman. Canada's entire plan is operated through Davies. Nearly 10 minutes. Vittoria. Davies, back heel, David across. And that's likely the last gasp for Canada. Clever. And Buchanan, the last to arrive. John Herdman, what a job he's done with Canada. at some point it'll become clear what they've accomplished. For B.J. Callahan, no one could have seen this coming. The moment Anthony Hudson left, a number of people, B.J. who? B.J. Callahan is going to be a bit of a folk legend. Balogun, his first goal, his first final for the U.S. Richards as well. The undisputed champion of Concacaf, the United States, Nations League champions once again. If the first was a coming of age, this is proof that this golden generation's time to rule the region has only just begun. A second successive title in Nations League. The reigning Gold Cup winner. And the United States defeat Canada 2-0 after knocking out Mexico 3-0 in the semifinal. And Weston McKennie is immediately out on the field to celebrate with his teammates. The United States Nations League champions defeating Canada 2-0 in Las Vegas.
Celebrate the Concacaf Nations League final champion. Get your commemorative champion shirt as worn by the players on the field. Available at Amazon.com/CONCACAF.
This dream was, it still is. Weston McKennie already wearing the champion shirt as he ran out onto the field. U.S. fans have had a complicated last few days, but there's no complication to this feeling, nor for Canada. 4 years ago, they went to Gold Cup. They said, can we bring respect to our flag? Well, they've certainly done that. The question now, can they win a trophy? It'll have to wait just a little bit longer. The 23-year drought. We'll see another opportunity to hoist in just a month. On July the 16th, when the Gold Cup concludes in Los Angeles, could we possibly see this final again? Weah, a champion again. 3 20-year-olds to start a final for the first time in U.S. soccer history. Musa, Reyna, and Scally. And Musa, tremendous tonight. A little less dramatic than it was in 2021. Canadians valiant as ever. Richards, his first goal. He waited 18 months from January of 2022 until this week to get back into the national team. And he scores the game winner. And this dude is jacked up about winning. B.J. Callahan is a champion now. He had to make some difficult decisions. There is no guidebook when you're starting right back. Then the midfielder that really revs the team's engine gets going. And to be a fly on the wall here, Atiba Hutchinson, one final moment with his team. Here's Christian Pulisic.
Christian, back back-to-back Nations League wins. You guys are champions again. How does it feel? What's going through your head?
It feels great. Obviously, a great performance against Mexico, and then coming in against a really strong Canada side. I have to give them a lot of credit for how they fought today. And to come out on top again, it's going to feel nice to lift that trophy.
People were saying that Canada were the kings of Concacaf because they were first in World Cup qualifying. What did you guys prove tonight?
I mean, listen, we got the result tonight, and we put in a really top performance once again. We fought, we battled, but like I said, we have to give them credit as well. They put on a hell of a performance.
What do you have to say about your team across these two matches?
I mean, I think it's just another step in the right direction. It's just going to be about these knockout games, you know, come those big tournaments, Copa America, World Cup. It's, you know, when times get tough, we got to step up and score the goals when it counts and keep them out of our goal, and we did a good job of that.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you.
Congratulations. What did you see from your team tonight?
Thank you. I mean, what you saw there was guys that are willing to die for each other, do anything on the field for each other. We were able to capitalize on our chances that we had, and then we had to suffer for a long time. But that just shows the level of resiliency and relentlessness that this team has and has been built for a long time.
You talk about that resilience. You were missing two main players coming into it with red cards. You were missing another player, Tyler Adams, to an injury, but you guys still pushed through and had such great performances across these two matches.
Yeah, we're a team that believes in everybody, and we continue to preach that it's the next man up and do it when your number's called. And you saw some great performances from guys that stepped on the field for one of the first or second times. And that's how the brotherhood works, is that everyone has each other's back and you're ready to go when it's your time.
What do you think the U.S. men's national team proved today, putting out such a young roster? And what does that say about the future of this team?
I think that it just proves that we believe in ourselves as we continue to strive to compete against the elite in international football. And this is just another milestone for us to give us confidence that we're well on that way.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Stephen. What went wrong tonight?
Overall, with our platforms, I think we did a good job. We suffered a goal on the stopped ball, and unfortunately, when you suffer a goal early, it's hard to come back. We went after the game, but direct ball and a set piece, that's what made them win the game. I think we played better. We had more volume, but we didn't score. It is what it is.
John Herman, before the game, was telling me that on Thursday, he saw the best USA team that he's seen in his life. You guys saw that tonight here?
They're a good team. They have a lot of depth, you know. For each position, they have a lot of players that play in Tier 1 leagues and are in good teams. And that type of environment helps them a lot in this national team. But I still believe we're the better team when it comes 11-v11. And I think today, we didn't score, but we had a lot of volume. It was a 50-50 game. They tried a lot of long balls, and it's just how it is. Thank you.
Coach, what do you think went wrong tonight?
Well, I think we left it all out there. I thought Canada gave a great account of themselves in a final. Set pieces, we got done on the first one. They were very dominant in that space. But that's what 10 extra days of preparation gets you. You know, this team were ready to play a final. I thought our lads gave it everything. They left it all out. They can be proud. We had a lot of chances. Just didn't take them. I thought there was some moments there where if we took our chance, it's a different game. But US, they took care of business. They were very resolute tonight and defensively sound.
And now a quick opportunity to be back on the field and Gold Cup now.
Yeah, you lose, you learn, and we've got to learn quickly going into the Gold Cup. Be a different squad, different feel to our performances there. But I think, again, you know, the lads can be proud of that tonight, and those that carry over, they'll be even more hungry.
Chris, couldn't have asked for a better time to score your first goal, huh?
No, not at all. You know, it was a great feeling, especially in the final, so I was really happy for it.
You guys played an incredible game. How'd you feel back there throughout the 90 minutes?
A bit tired. You know, it was a tough 90 minutes, but you know, we all held it down, and I'm really proud of the team.
BJ Callahan's come in 2 games, his first 2 games as a head coach, and now he's won a title. How have you guys felt with him at the helm?
Yeah, it felt like we haven't missed a beat. When BJ came in, or when he stepped up, we knew that it was business as usual, and he realized it, and he brought it to these 2 games, and I think we performed well under him.
How about you, man? You haven't been playing a lot all year long, and you come in and you had such a clean 180 minutes in the Nations League. I mean, look at the smile on your face, man. It says a lot because you must be proud of yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't play that much this year, but I know what I can bring, and so I feel like I showed it over the last few days, and I was just happy that we won a title.
Now, how has the group managed to digest the Berhalter information? It was kind of just reports the last time we were asking you guys questions post-game, and now he's the manager of the national team.
Yeah, we're happy that Greg's back. We're all really looking forward to having him back and just continuing this journey. Hopefully more titles to come.
Where are you going to celebrate?
I'm going back to Birmingham.
All right, man. Congrats and enjoy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, man. Hey.
Gold Cup, Gold Glove in 2021 sent his career into orbit. Matt Turner now the best goalkeeper in the Nations League.
Not only in the tournament, but determined by tonight's game, your Concacaf Nations League best player goes to Christian Pulisic of the USA.
A brace against the team that he torments. Christian Pulisic, 2 goals against Mexico, wearing the captain's armband to a title once again in Nations League, the best player. Before the ceremony began, the Fair Play Award to Panama. The top scorer presented by Qatar Airways, Gerwin Smalley Lake of St. Martin. The officials receive their medals. A Champions League medal, a Gold Cup medal, and now a Nations League medal for Said Martinez. Victor Montagliani offers the medals now. The applause for Canada. This moment for Atiba Hutchinson, so brutally bittersweet. The face of the men's program in Canada since the turn of the century. In trying times, he led Canada to places that they had only dreamed of returning. It's a runners-up medal, but it's also proof Canada is here to stay. Second place in the Concacaf Nations League, their first final in 23 years. He doesn't leave a champion, but he does leave Canada in a drastically better place than they've been. The vast majority of this team will be around for a number of tournaments to come, including 2026, when Canada jointly hosts the FIFA World Cup. And you would expect they'll only continue to grow in power in that time. Alphonso Davies, the final player to receive his medal. 2 months between starts. He gave everything tonight. John Herdman, in his post-match interview, described the set-piece goal, the direct play and nature of the second American goal. That's what 10 extra days of preparation will bring. Canada fought the ghosts of their federation's past over the past 2 years. Now they'll strive to continue to grow beyond that and into an elite power on the global stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, the dream has been captured. After 106 matches, 1 year of play, 41 Concacaf nations united for football. The United States dream is now.
It is telling that Gio Reyna is the first to take the stage. 2 assists in the final, gritting his way back to the bench to be with his teammates. A brotherhood reconnected. The United States, the best of the 41 in CONCACAF, in Nations League, in Gold Cup in 2021, a double. A performance strong, but short at the FIFA World Cup. They accept winners' medals now. This is what's expected of this young team. The youngest ever to assemble as an 11 for a final in U.S. men's national team history. Shawn Johnson, yet another title. Walker Zimmerman stepping in the final. A dominant aerial force. BJ Callahan had never been the head coach for a professional or international match. Piloting this American team through the latest turmoil and set to hand the reins over following the upcoming Gold Cup. To lift this trophy will be specifically sweet for him and for this staff who stayed together through it all. They've taken the stage again, this time in Las Vegas. Christian Pulisic, with a smile, the best player in the region in Nations League. Another winner's medal. Representatives of the United States and Canadian federations. Victor Montagliani hands over the trophy. 2 years ago, the American generation's first trophy. The United States defend their title to win another one. 2022-2023 CONCACAF Nations League champions. Gio Reyna hoists the trophy. They'll all get their chance. Fluttering confetti welcomes this United States national team yet again. Another title, 3 successive continental crowns. Timothy Weah seeds. Richards, his first goal, if you can believe it. And yes, Florin Balogun has arrived. Aronson, the Campbell in the lineup, paid off. The United States lift yet another continental trophy, another crown. This time, defeating Canada in the 2023 Nations League final. Matt Turner, the best goalkeeper. Christian Pulisic, the best player. And with all this promise, one has to imagine the best is yet to come. A celebration that will endure. A number of these players have lifted this trophy or they've lifted the Gold Cup before. Another one. Weston McKennie suspended for the match, taking in all of this. Joe Scally asked to carry the load at outside back when Serginho Dest went down. Goodness did he. And confetti angels on the field here at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. A trophy fashioned to represent the region in its entirety, contested by all 41 member countries. Concacaf Nations League trophy, again, resides with the U.S. national team. Look at the full-time stats. The United States 2-0 winners over Canada. They did have chances. They felt they had the volume. Their possession ballooned at the end of the game in search of a goal that would provide the lifeline that never came. Goals from Balogun and Richards. The United States 2, Canada 0 in the Nations League final. The Concacaf Nations League Finals. The second iteration. The U.S. here again. This time it is Canada, another North American rival, in the finale. Chris Richards, the opening goal in the 12th minute. Just his 10th appearance for the national team. The man from Crystal Palace offers his first goal for the United States. The U.S. would have 2 first-time goal scorers in a final. It had never happened before in the nation's history. Folarin Balogun from Gio Reyna. Not 1, but 2 assists. And Balogun's first goal for the U.S. national team. The U.S. would try for their third, specifically through the first 25 minutes of the second half. Richards bangs this off the crossbar with a touch from Borjan. Christian Pulisic angling to Richards, saved off the line by Kennedy. And the follow snatched from Robinson by Borjan. Canada would have the run of play for the final 15 minutes. The United States suffered for this title. Adekubi playing back. Larin not once but twice splayed over the bar. Canada close, but unable to find that goal that would put them back in the match. And the U.S. looking for insurance. Pulisic off target. With last-ditch defending. It would all lead to the U.S. hoisting the trophy again. Back-to-back Nations League champions. 2-0 over Canada. It took 104 matches, and now we have a champion. Congratulations to the United States. For our entire team in Las Vegas and throughout the region that brought you this tournament, Mike Watts saying thank you and so long for now.